And after much deliberation, it is now what we can expect is that India-Pakistan match in most likelihood is expected to take place on the 15th of this month, coming Sunday. And while it's the Emirates and, of course, the Emirates Cricket Board that's written to Pakistan after the Sri Lanka board. Now, do remember that Pakistan, that they had helped when the PCB needed support. So Pakistan needs to stand up for the associate nations is what is being said. So this cricket row between India and Pakistan that has erupted over so many days, much deliberation, many back and forth that we have heard. Preeti Dahiya, my colleague, joining us. Preeti, of course, Pakistan had early decided to boycott the upcoming match on the 15th against India despite being warned by the ICC. But now, of course, we are expecting, from what we are hearing, is the match might be taking place finally.
That's right, Divya. In fact, right from the day that Pakistan announced this so-called boycott of the match against India on the 15th of February, we've been maintaining that Pakistan in all likelihood is going to change its stance before the 15th of February. And we are seeing them inching towards that decision only now bit by bit. What has happened in the last 24 hours is also very interesting to observe. The latest development is that the Emirates Cricket Board has written to the Pakistan Cricket Board telling them to honor the associate nations also of the ICC. Earlier, it was the Sri Lanka Cricket Board which had written to PCB, reminding them about the relations that Sri Lanka has had with Pakistan when it comes to cricket ties between the two countries, reminding them that Sri Lankan cricketers have travelled to Pakistan even when they were attacked by terrorists in Pakistan. So now it was time for Pakistan to pay back the favour by honouring this match between India and Pakistan, which is anyway slated to take place in Colombo. It's not happening in either of the two countries. So there was no reason for Pakistan, first of all, to quit this match. And in the last 24 hours, there have been a series of meetings that have taken place in Lahore between the PCB, the Bangladesh Cricket Board and the ICC. All the delegates were present in Lahore, and at the end of it, what we are learning is that Pakistan Cricket Board is going to ultimately decide to play against India, but that is subject to a few conditions that they have laid down in front of the ICC. One of the conditions, remember, they are anyway going to use it as a bargain chip. So one of the conditions is that the PCB is pushing for a compensation for the Bangladesh Cricket Board, despite the fact that it was Bangladesh which was shown the door to exit the T20 World Cup because they were not ready to play in India, and the ICC was not ready to grant them their matches in Sri Lanka because there was no reason for them to move those matches to Sri Lanka, and it would have been a logistical nightmare for the ICC to prepare for those things, those arrangements last minute. The other demand is a participation fee, the demand for hosting rights of an ICC event. As far as I know, the next ICC event that the PCB is going to host is only in 2028. So they have also used this opportunity to get more ICC events in their country, and a PCB-BCB meeting happened before this meeting with the ICC was conducted. In fact, now let's go across to our consulting editor, Sports, Boria Majumdar, who has broken this news on NDTV, and he's joining us on the broadcast. So Boria, first of all, let's understand that the latest in this series of drama is the fact that Emirates Cricket Board has written to PCB. What is the likelihood of Pakistan Cricket Board listening to their closest partner?
Yeah, the likelihood is pretty strong, Preeti, at this point in time. In fact, what I'm told just now, about a couple of minutes back, is that the Pakistan Prime Minister is supposed to meet Mohsin Naqvi around 2-3 o'clock today. That's what I'm being told, that the decision could even come today. There is a major likelihood, 4 different plans. One, Pakistan will say in the larger interest of the game, they will say UAE has been a board which has been close to them. Sri Lanka has been a board which has been close to them. They have tried to convince the ICC in solidarity with Bangladesh that no sanctions be imposed on the BCB, and that associate member nations would have lost financially. For the larger interest of the game, Pakistan is taking this call of doing a U-turn. That's what is the most likely. I said, so when is the announcement expected? It could be today, it could be tomorrow, but I was told 85% to 90% now is likely that the match will go on.
That's a big probability, 85 to 90% of the match going ahead on the 15th of February. Boria, also help us understand that now Pakistan Cricket Board has clearly used this opportunity as a bargaining chip with the ICC. Do we have a clear understanding of what are their demands on the table?
Yeah, but nothing of that will be met or can be met by the delegation that traveled. Imran Khwaja and Usman, both of them Mubashir Usmani Sadar, both of them who were negotiating on behalf of the ICC, they were not empowered to give them anything. In fact, these demands I was hearing you say about more money, more events, etc. These are all ICC board demands. I mean, the ICC board has to adjudicate. Imran and Mubashir were given the specific task of negotiating this particular match on the 15th of Feb.
Right.
At best, they can go back and table it in front of the ICC board. So concessions regarding that is not on the table for sure. And I can tell you that that's not happening at this point in time. What is on the table is no sanctions for Bangladesh or no penalties. What is on the table is obviously the grandstanding Sri Lanka, Emirates Cricket Board and associate member nations requesting Pakistan. But making more money out of the ICC, revenue going up from 35 odd million to more million, getting one more ICC event, getting Bangladesh an ICC event into 2028, these are kind of things which are not on the table basis yesterday's conversation, because Imran and Mubashir are not empowered to take any such call.
Boria, it is quite clear that there is considerable pressure on PCB to reverse their decision to boycott this match against India on the 15th of February. It has come in from all quarters. But it was the Prime Minister of Pakistan who has very vocally announced that Pakistan will not play India. In the light of that, for Mohsin Naqvi to independently take a decision as the head of PCB is not going to be possible. Are we learning that there is a meeting between him and the Prime Minister sometime today, and then only we can hear officially from PCB about their decision?
Exactly. And that is precisely why there was no media briefing yesterday. There has not been one official word on this from the Pakistan Cricket Board yet. You have not heard anything from the ICC officially, though unofficially we've kind of broken what we have. We know the text of the Emirates Cricket Board letter, exactly what they've written. We know all that. But you're absolutely right that there is a meeting that's going to happen, and it is the Pakistan Premier, the Pakistan Prime Minister, who will be taken into confidence before a decision like this is announced, because otherwise you've got to salvage his position. You've got to redeem the position of the Prime Minister. I mean, the Prime Minister of a country making a statement that the match won't happen, and then you take a U-turn 4 days later. You've got to protect the position of the Prime Minister, spin a narrative by which you can kind of salvage his position. That's what will happen. There will be a meeting, post which the narrative will be spun that the larger interest of the game has taken precedence and Pakistan is doing what it is.
Already, Boria, attempts are being made to spin that narrative by saying that it was the ICC that wrote to the PCB, not the other way round. Now, that obviously makes a lot of difference in selling this narrative to your own audience back home.
That's exactly the point. That it is the ICC delegation that visited Pakistan. It is the Sri Lankan board that wrote. It is the UAE board that wrote. Associate member nations will lose. The ICC also wanted to come to the negotiating table. The truth is Pakistan wrote to the ICC about the force majeure. The ICC responded with clear clarity saying, hello, this is not going to work, basis what you've written. You've got to understand that there are legal complications, commercial issues, and other considerations. So yes, they will do the posturing and the grandstanding for the Pakistan home audience and the home electorate. Do not forget that Bangladesh Cricket Board went why? 2 days later is the Bangladesh election. The larger geopolitics of South Asia also has a role here because the elections are on the 12th. So that grandstanding that, look, we stood in solidarity, we protected you from ICC sanctions, no penalties are being imposed because Pakistan fought for you, will also be part of that larger narrative. So this narrative will be spun by which the Pakistan Premier or the Prime Minister's position will be salvaged.
And there is no doubt, Boria, that this is going to be a huge embarrassment to Pakistan, because right from the day when they announced that they are not going to play this particular match against India on the 15th of February, we here at NDTV, you and I have had various shows and we've maintained that there will be a U-turn. They have shot themselves in the foot by announcing this. Can you, for the better understanding of the viewer, help us understand how force majeure, which was cited by PCB in its letter to the ICC, cannot be implemented in this particular case, and how a U-turn was always something that they would have to consider, considering the financial implications of this decision?
First things first, who loses?
Yeah.
The BCCI, the narrative that was being spun is Pakistan is going to hurt India. Sorry. India's net worth, net earnings stand at 18,500 crores. 18,370 to be exact. Pakistan is 400 crores. Can you imagine? 18,000 crores versus 400. Sri Lanka, 400. Bangladesh, 400. Now, if the ICC money that is accrued to Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and associate member countries go down, Who loses? Bangladesh loses, Sri Lanka loses, associate member countries loses, obviously PCB loses.
Yes.
For India, it's a speck in the ocean. So the loss is theirs. In trying to protect Bangladesh, Pakistan would have ended up harming Bangladesh. Point number one. Point number two, selective force majeure. For 5.7.1 and Article 12 clearly tells you that this could be legally interpreted in multiple different ways. Pakistan will have its own interpretation. ICC will have its own. But ICC is on a pretty strong wicket that this selective interpretation of force majeure is not applicable, which is why. And there is soft channel diplomacy. What is that? I will stop players from playing the PSL. I will stop bilateral tours. Basis ICC's understanding with the other boards, because you've seen the vote, 14-2, which means Pakistan does not have a single vote within the ICC board. When you take all of these things into account, you realize that you've actually shot yourself in the foot. So how do you come back from here? Your premier is on record. So you've got to create a narrative. The narrative is, I am doing it for the larger cause of the game, for Sri Lanka, for Bangladesh, for Emirates Cricket Board, for everybody else. And that's why I'm doing this grandstanding and trying to become a hero to the electorate that we got ICC to Pakistan.
That's
Forever
right.
the Pakistani trait. But everybody understands that the Prime Minister doing a U-turn, do I say more?
Well, I do also have a feeling, Boria, that they are going to present a picture in case of a U-turn that, the ICC has given considerable compensation or assurances to PCB for future. But we'll discuss that point in just a bit. We've got a lot of reactions really coming in on all these developments revolving around the match between India and Pakistan. My colleague Aishwarya spoke to Kirti Azad. Listen in.
I don't know why is India is so eager to play against Pakistan. Earlier there was a talk during Sindoor that we shouldn't be playing against Pakistan, and now India seems to be very eager wanting to play against Pakistan, which is a terrorist country. And then there's deciding with Bangladesh Cricket Board, Pakistan sitting with them. So obviously we know that we have failed in our foreign policy. We are isolating Bangladesh from us. So I find it very funny. I mean, I don't know what is the policy of the country. After all, ICC is headed by Mr. Jai Shah, son of Mr. Amit Shah. So whatever ICC says happens. 80% of the revenue comes from India, so India is the most powerful nation.
Well, that reaction from Kirti Azad more on the lines of his political viewpoint rather than as a former cricketer. But sticking to pure cricket terms, let's go back once again to Boria Majumdar, who continues to be with me on this broadcast and is the first one to break the story here on NDTV. So, Boria, the point that I was raising earlier, that now when Pakistan will try and spin the narrative, they will also come up with all these, perhaps the assurances and the compensations that are being cooked up in their head and bring them out in public, saying that we've extracted so much out of ICC in exchange for this match.
Yeah, but that won't hold water, because the ICC board has to, everybody knows that if you are putting on the table bilateral matches against India, who is ICC to decide on bilateral cricket? It is to be decided by the government of India and the Board of Control for Cricket in India. Simple as that. Now, anyone, even a child, will understand that this is not going to hold water. Secondly, you say we will be given more tournaments and more matches. Who has passed it? Imran Khwaja and Mubashir Usmani making a visit to Lahore for 2 hours, passing an ICC resolution. How is that even feasible or possible? You can spin any number of narratives. The only thing that is on the table is, are you going to play this match? Else there will be compensation, legal and financial. Are you going to play this match? Else you can be ostracized, isolated and alienated within the cricket world. You can spin any narrative for your domestic audience, for your constituency back home. But in real terms, the real deal that is, I don't think ICC board has done anything to the effect that will compromise the ICC's position. Nothing like that was on the table, is on the table, or is expected to be on the table.
Boria, this demand of more bilaterals between India and Pakistan, how real is this demand from PCB? Does it also at some level show their desperation? Because obviously they know that this is the biggest revenue churner in the world of sports, not just cricket.
Preeti, you also know, I also know, bilateral is off the table. Not happening.
Absolutely.
No, there's zero chance. It is not our call. You and I are not BCCI or Government of India, but as informed journalists who've been tracking this development for the longest time, for 2 decades, I can tell you this: if India plays bilateral cricket with Pakistan, that will be the biggest miracle of the century. It's not happening. No chance. As long as there is terror that is exported from across the border,
Absolutely.
not happening. And there is zero chance, however much Pakistan can. And who is ICC? It is a government of India call. We will play multi-nation cricket. It's a clear policy because we want to host the Commonwealth Games. We want to host the Olympic Games. There is a larger sports policy that was pronounced by the government of India after Operation Sindoor. Bilateral cricket is off the table. By requesting Imran Khwaja from Singapore and Mubashir Usmani from the United Arab Emirates, how on earth do you even expect the ICC board to consider this? I don't think you don't take this one demand, I don't think you need to take seriously at all.